Okay, so a little bit more about me. I also worked in the prosecutor's office.
Oh.
I won't say where.
Why not? Throw him under the bus. Over the bus.
No. We don't do that.
I also I worked in the human trafficking unit. So I worked with survivors of human trafficking. I was out here in these streets, helping the people, rescuing the individuals, right? And certain lawyers don't really have that bedside manner
at all,
right? Like where you can see like this person has been through like a traumatic experience, and I get that you have to ask them like all of these questions because you need to know A, B, and C, and D. But certain lawyers, certain police officers just don't know when to stop. And maybe if they had that psychology course, then you can like see the nonverbal language to say like, hey, maybe I gotta chill right now.
So I don't want to shit on the prosecution office that you worked.
I worked with defense lawyers too.
It was
I was gonna say.
So that was the thing. Was it?
Because both ways.
Did you feel the same way at the defense attorney office? Because I would say what you're describing is more of a product, not a product of lawyers, but products of prosecutors.
So let me just say this.
They're about their convictions. They're about those convictions.
I worked with good prosecutors. Like not prosecutors that was just chasing a conviction rate, like prosecutors that actually cared about what was happening and giving out full fair sentences. Right? And I don't know if it's because the type of crime type that we worked in, but I've also seen prosecutors who were cold. Right.
But I guess which ones were treating the victims worse? Probably the conviction chasers, I would guess.
No, I mean I don't agree with you. Not from my experiences. I mean, I didn't work at a defense attorney's office, but I worked with them. Okay. With like some cases, like in trafficking cases, right? People may get arrested for prostitution-related crimes, right? But then they speak to their lawyer, and it turns out, no, you was actually a victim of sex trafficking. So then you'll come and do a it's been a minute. I forgot what it was called. The little meeting with the prosecutor. Yes, a proffer. Right. And then you'll do a proffer. So we did a lot of that.
They want those pimps.
Together.
They want those pimps.
So, I mean, I've seen good people on both sides, but...
We'll let you go, but you give us your pimp. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Pimp just sounds funny.
Sometimes they need to give up the pimp. But I've also seen prosecutors that you got to do better.
You got to do better. Yeah.
No, it goes both ways. Like, that's really, and me and Gina talked about this on the show. Like, a lot of times the only issue that clients will have with an attorney is not their knowledge base. They know what they're talking about. It's how you handle your client. Like, how do you talk to them? Are you talking to them like they're human and that they're actually in control of this case? Right. Because they have the final say. So are you going to actually engage them and include them in these conversations that you're having with the prosecutor? Or are you just going to let them, like, don't worry, I'll talk to you when we're going to trial?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Right.
Like, it's so funny. I see so much stress of my coworkers, and it's like, what I realize is that half that stress or half of that their angry client comes from just not allowing that conversation to be 3 minutes longer,
right. Talk 5 about
minutes
it.
longer, because just that, like, all right, this is you're in your feelings in this moment. This is when I should give you my time, because if I give you my time in this moment, you will not stop calling me. And I know a bunch of lawyers who are just like, oh, this motherfucker calls me all the time. It's probably because you don't answer his fucking questions.
Right.
Yeah. Where it's like, if you, there's a bunch of my clients where, like, I really answer their questions and really make them understand. And then after that, if they're still being kind of like a little extra, I can tell them, like, yo, my man, didn't I tell you that already? And they'll be like, you right, Eugene. You right, Mr. Eugene.
Oh, you just
I love Mr. Eugene. I get Mr. Eugene. I don't know why. Like, Mr. Eugene?
Because they can't pronounce your last name probably.
Hell nah. They call me
Tiramisu?
They're calling me Mr. Eugene because they think my last name is Mr. Eugene. But I just find it funny. But it's like, Mr. Eugene, I just don't understand. It's like, I got you. I'm going to make you understand, because then you're not going to call me for the rest of my life.
But I also feel like the exposure, like if you've been doing the job for a long time, you kind of like become cold.
Yeah. You know
like, you get a little jaded.
Yeah. You just another case. Like, just give me the information and get out of my office, because I've heard this.
But
like,
the funny thing is, I don't actually.
I've seen that. But I wouldn't be surprised if some individual. I'm sure it's individual. The situation would be individual.
Let me recharacterize what I'm saying. I definitely do think the more jaded you become, the shorter you become, right? right? But if you were short to begin with, you're just getting shorter, right? If you gave people time because you understood they needed it, yes, jadedness will definitely shave that time off. And a lot of times you need that. Like, I appreciate my jaded. That shit gets me through the day. I was giving a lot of motherfuckers time. But not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way. Social workers.
We don't judge. We do not judge.
Should judge. Judging.
Apply that pressure.
This is important. No, but I just mean that, like, I think bedside manner is one of those things where it's like, if you don't have it, you don't have it. And that jadedness is only going to make it worse. Mm-hmm. But like you said, the funny thing is, I don't even know if I think psychology, my experience with taking psychology course is that it made me understand something I wanted to understand, right? But if you don't have the desire to understand your fellow person and why they're doing this, or why they should be given, not a pass is the wrong word, but why they should be understood for why they're doing the thing they're doing, and the pain that, like that they're projecting pain and yada, 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 psychology shit.
I see you.
But if you don't have that desire, and it doesn't matter if you understand it or don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because psychology is teaching you how to understand it, but you still have to apply it.
Right.
Exactly.
And do the work.
Man, when I was in college, man, I hated dating girls who were taking psychology, man.
Why?
You sound like my boyfriend.
I was just like, oh, you a psychology major? I'm walking away, man. Because they were brain ninjas. Like, I feel like psychology is important, but I also feel like psychology is a sword that cuts both ways, right? So if you're really good at psychology, you can manipulate motherfuckers, right? You can say, oh, well,
it's effective communication.
Yeah.
It can also be used as a weapon, right? It can also be used as a weapon.
If you are a good sailor, you can sail the oceans well. That's what psychology is. The mind is an ocean, and if you know what you're doing, you can go anywhere.
No, but when I was in grad school, my first semester, my boyfriend had that same thing, because he was like, yo, not for nothing, don't talk to me like you one of my clients.
Yes.
Why you reading everything that I'm doing? And I'm like,
I'm not reading.
I'm just properly communicating with you, right?
Yo, it's a fact. Yo, my wife to this day stopped lawyering me. What you mean? We're going back and forth, and I'm hitting down points after points after points. I'm lawyering you now? That's where we at?
You got a chart on the wall. You're like, look, no, this is connected to this.
Wow.
Guilty.
You did it.
My wife doesn't even try. She knows what this is. You better, if you're gonna go to war, you better bring her back.
Oh no.
But